Hi, I'm Tim and thanks for watching this video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to integrate a Yubikey into KeePassXC. So if you use KeePassXC as your database for managing your user logins and passwords, and you also own or are thinking of owning a Yubikey, then this video is for you, as I'll show you how to integrate the Yubikey into the database so that when you access the database, you not only have your password to put into KeePassXC, but you can also plug in your Yubikey and it will give you a second level of authentication. And also, as a bonus tip, I'll be showing you how to create a backup key. So with two Yubikeys, you've got a backup. So let's get started and hop onto the computer behind me. So here we are at the computer and I'm using Windows 11 Professional for this video. What you first need to do, if you haven't already done so, is to download the Yubikey application and also KeePassXC. So to download the Yubikey application, you need to go to www.yubikey.com, and then once you're at the website here, you select support at the top right corner. Then once you've selected support, you can scroll down and select downloads. Then from the downloads page, scroll down until you find Yubikey Authenticator and select downloads. Then again, scroll down nearly to the bottom and you'll see that there's different versions, one for Linux, Android, iOS, Mac and Windows. So what you need to do is select the version for download for Windows directly here, 64-bit. I wouldn't recommend using the Microsoft App Store as it will need extra file permissions to allow you to do things in the Yubikey application. So download the one for Windows directly here. So once you've downloaded and saved that, you need to install it as you would any other program. And then once you've installed it, put in your Yubikey into your computer and then open up Yubikey Authenticator and you should get a screen similar to this one here. As you can see, I'm using a Yubikey 5 NFC. Now you will need to check to make sure that your Yubikey does support challenge response. So as you can see, if I go into the slots option here, select one of the slots, so 1 out of 2 slots, and you'll see we've got the challenge response option. So that confirms that this Yubikey does support challenge response. Now once you've downloaded the Yubikey Authenticator and installed it, you'll also need KeePassXC. So if you don't already have this, then go to the KeePassXC.org website. All links will be also put in the video description. And then once you're in KeePassXC, select download, and then you need to select download for Windows. Now also you will need a Visual C++ installed on your computer. So if you haven't already got this, you can select requires MSVC redistributable. Now what you need to do is just click on that. It will download the C++ and then you can proceed to install that into your Windows operating system. Now it's quite safe to do so and most computers already have this installed as a lot of programs use this, but if you haven't already got it, then I would just recommend installing it anyway. Once you've done that, you can then select download for Windows for KeePassXC, go ahead and open the application, install it as you would normally any other, and then once you've done that, that completes downloading the two applications that you'll need. So here you can see I've got database and then I've got 3 sample entries in there. I've also got open Notepad, which is already installed in Windows by default. So you will need the Yubikey Authenticator, KeePassXC and also Notepad all open at the same time. So what you need to do is for the Yubikey Authenticator, you need to make sure that your key is inserted as I mentioned earlier. Then what we're going to do is select slots. So the slot option here, and you'll see that we've got 2 slots. So we've got one with a short touch and one with long touch. Now you'll notice here that both of the slots are showing as empty. Now if you bought the new Yubikey, then you may find that one of the slots is actually not empty. So don't worry about that. It comes programmed by default from the factory normally. So what you need to do is select one of the empty slots. So in this case, we'll select number 1, and then we need to select the challenge response option. Then with the challenge response window, you'll see we've got a secret key box. Now at the moment it's empty. So what you need to do is click the circle arrow here, which will generate a random challenge response. So with that challenge response, you need to copy it, and then you need to paste it into the Notepad document. So you'll see we've got the challenge response there, pasted into Notepad, and you can either paste it into Notepad or you can actually write it down on a piece of paper and keep it safe. Now I do recommend you keep this safe somewhere, either in a file on a different system or, for example, an external USB stick. So save this secret key on a USB stick or on a piece of paper somewhere safe, because you'll need it if you're using and creating another backup Yubikey for your KeePassXC database. So you will need this challenge response. And once the challenge response is in there, all you need to do is click on Save. That has now programmed slot number 1 on the Yubikey with our challenge response. Then in KeePassXC, what we need to do is select the database option and then select Save Database Backup. So what we're going to do is create a backup database, and then once the original database has been tested and it's working okay with the Yubikey, we can then either remove the backup database or keep it somewhere safe on, say, an external USB stick. So we'll call this default backup, and that's created our backup database. So now what we need to do is go into the database option again and then select database security. Then with the database security option, you'll see we've got general options here. We've got security, browser integration, key share and maintenance. Now what you need to do is make sure that you've selected security, so the one with the shield icon. And then what we're going to do is select add additional protection. Then you'll see we get 2 extra options. We've got key file and challenge response. Now what we're going to do is use challenge response. So with the challenge response section, we need to select add challenge response. And you'll see that the Yubikey has now popped up in there and it's selecting slot number 1. Now if you've got more than one slot programmed, it may give slot number 1 or slot number 2 depending on how your Yubikey is programmed. So what you need to do is make sure that you've selected Yubikey. So in this case it's Yubikey 5 and slot 1. So if you remember, we programmed slot number 1 with the challenge response here. So we need to select slot 1 in the challenge response here in the KeePassXC option. So once you've done that, you can then select OK. Then if you haven't already got the save option automatically set, what you need to do is click the save icon. So this looks like a little floppy disk. So it's the second icon from the left. So you need to click this for save database. And then what it will do is save the database with the new Yubikey integration added. So to test this, we'll close KeePassXC. We'll then reopen KeePassXC, enter our usual password that we've already created for the database, and then make sure that the box for use hardware key and then the serial number, so your serial number will be different, but just make sure that that box is ticked, which it is, and then select unlock. This will then unlock the database using the Yubikey that is already inserted into the USB port on the PC, in addition to entering our password. So that's how easy it is to add your Yubikey into your KeePassXC database to provide some additional security. Now, what happens if you want to program a second Yubikey? Well, all you would need to do is insert your Yubikey into the USB port on your computer, and with the Yubikey Authenticator application open, what you would do is select the slots option. And then, for example, you'd select the empty slot that you want to program. So this is on the backup spare Yubikey that you might have. So you select the empty slot, select challenge response, and then what you need to do is paste in that number that we copied into Notepad and paste it in to the challenge response on your second backup Yubikey, and then select save. And then you've got 2 Yubikeys that can now open your KeePassXC database. So that's how easy it is to create a backup Yubikey or a spare Yubikey in addition to your main one, which will then allow both Yubikeys to open KeePassXC. So hope you found this video useful. As I've said, I'll put links in the video description to where you can find the Yubikey Authenticator and also KeePassXC. So that'll do it for this video. Keep a lookout as more videos are coming again soon. Thanks for watching, take care, and bye for now.